I'm making the hard decision to quit Mounjaro, and I'm going to explain what led up to this. Hi, I'm Dina, and welcome to my channel, Living Mosaic. Just wanted to share with you some updates about some things that have been going on and why I'm making this decision to quit using Mounjaro. So, I had done a previous video basically talking about the cost of Mounjaro being exceptionally high and what entailed from the story. So I'm going to give you the rest of the story and then my final decision. So when I made that video, I had just gotten my prescription for Mounjaro 5.0 approved by my doctor and sent to my mail order prescription organization or whatever through my insurance. Okay, and I'm not going to name those things because I'm telling you at the end of the year I may switch out and do something different anyways during open enrollment at my job. So apparently the Mounjaro for a 3-month supply through this mail order program through my insurance was about $3,000. Now, I did apply for the Eli Lilly savings card, which what I gather it gave me the savings of maybe $4.99, something like that. $300, somewhere around that, because the price had changed when I was looking online through the mail order program. Was like one time it was 24 something and the other time it was 29 something. So I'm assuming even though they couldn't tell me because they said we don't have access to tell you what savings are applied. We just want you to put your credit card on here, okay? And we will send it as soon as it goes through the credit card. Well, I cannot afford $3,000 for a 3-month supply of Mounjaro. It just can't happen. So like I had mentioned in the last video, I had made multiple calls. I had tried to see what could be done. They put a waiver in so they would allow me to use my local Walgreens, and then I would be able to see what the cost is going to be up front before I could decide to pay for it or not. So I went through the whole process, did the waiver. Okay, so in the just past few days, I'm going to tell you how many times I've had to contact multiple people. So in just a few days' time, I had to call my doctor 3 times, the doctor's office, regarding sending prescriptions to Walgreens. I had to contact Walgreens 5 times to try to explain to them the process, and every time I was explaining the whole thing, every single time, so people would understand. 5 times to Walgreens, 5 times to the mail order prescription program, and then once to the insurance company. And it was just constant back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Very in the middle of, just any spare moments that I had during the day, for days in a row, I was trying to make all this stuff happen. I was really hustling, trying to make everything happen, contacting, making sure all the pieces were in place. So Walgreens had said, oh, we never got the prescription. And so that's why I had to keep calling the doctor. And the waiver was in place, but the original prescription was not backed out of the mail order program. So Walgreens could not fill that prescription, and they definitely would not fill a 3-month prescription. They would only give me the waiver. The insurance would only give me the waiver for a 1-month prescription. So I was like, okay, at least I'll know what it's going to cost me with the savings card or coupons or whatever. And so finally, after multiple calls, and it was just so aggravating because Walgreens says, oh, we need prior authorization. So they said, you need to call your insurance. I called my insurance. They said, no, you need to call the mail order prescription program. So I called that. And they said, nope, everything's fine. The original prescription was backed out of. It's good to go. You need to tell Walgreens, they just need to reprocess it. So I had been on the phone multiple times, and with Walgreens, the wait time is astronomical. The last time I was on hold, I was at work, finishing up work. It was 20 something minutes I was on hold while I'm multitasking, finishing stuff at work. And then it got to the point in the call where it was just ringing and ringing and ringing. And it sounded like it kicked out of the queue and then was just ringing and ringing and ringing. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to go drive up there. Work is literally 5 minutes away from Walgreens. So I'm going to go up to Walgreens and just be in person. And that's exactly what I did. I went and I stood in line. And the lady was super helpful. She was so nice at Walgreens. And she reprocessed the prescription. She put my savings card in. At first, because it did register as needed prior authorization, but I explained to her that it just needed to be reprocessed. So anyway, got that accomplished. But the price that she gave me was over $800 for 1 month's supply. And I said, I thank you so much for everything you've done to figure this out, because it had been just a lot of nonsense, a lot of time-consuming phone calls trying to make everything happen. And then I was like, I just can't afford $800 for this 1 month supply of medication. So therein is the story. Okay. I have to quit Mounjaro because I just can't afford it. And I know that in my last video I had mentioned, would I go to compounding? And I was doing all this research and trying to figure out what I could do to make that happen. I was really trying to keep the Mounjaro going. The pens are so convenient. The compounding stuff is a little confusing to me, but anyway, my final decision was to just quit Mounjaro. It was working great, and I was very happy with it, but I just cannot afford that kind of money. I just don't have that kind of money. I mean, I'm not a celebrity, you know, and stuff like that. So it's just beyond me that who could possibly afford that without insurance. And I feel like just the back and forth, the hassling, you know, trying to, you know, get everything going was just, my anxiety was pretty high with all that, and I was just doing the best I can to get things done. So anyways, but let me tell you what I did to be more proactive than how this all played out. So last week, when I knew that I had to take option 2. Option 1 was pay the big bucks through the mail order. Option 2 was to try to get the waiver so that I could see what the price was and get a good price on the monthly supply. That was only going to be one time, by the way. And then option 3 was to do compounding. So option 1 obviously did not work. Option 2 did not work. Option 3 is how I have to go. So to be proactive, what I decided to do was, in the meantime, while I was waiting for all this to play out and, you know, to process and try to get everything that I needed, I went ahead and ordered compounding Tirzepatide. And as of today, it shipped. I ordered it on Friday, I believe, or Thursday evening. I can't remember. It was either Thursday evening or Friday morning. Friday afternoon. Anyways, it was right around there. So I placed the order. What's today? It was the 5th. So whatever day that was, I think it might have been Friday. So I placed the order. I went through the questions. It asked for an ID picture of me. I gave the ID, and it wanted a Body Shop picture, which I sent that in, and I answered all the questions, and it told me what my pricing would be, and I put my card in and I made the payment. Now, what I paid for this was less than a third of the price. For 3 months, less than a third of the price of what I was being charged through my insurance program. So that just makes more sense that I would pay out of pocket to get the Tirzepatide that I need to continue my GLP-1 journey and to keep being successful with my weight loss. I'm so happy about that. And today I got notification just a little bit ago that it was processed and it was packaged and it's in shipping mode. So it probably took a little longer, I assume, than it normally might, because I ordered on the weekend, and I don't think there was any movement at the pharmacy, the compounding pharmacy, on the weekend. That's just my guess, because I was a little like, okay, when is this going to happen? I was slightly apprehensive, but today I just got the message and it's coming FedEx. I am so excited about it. Now, what I would like, and I'd love to hear comments from you out there who are using compounded Tirzepatide, is tell me about the process that you've used for the compounding Tirzepatide. Tell me about how easy it is. I think the most confusing part for me is having the conversion from the milligrams. So I want to do the 5 milligram dose, and I want to know like what units that is. And I'm sure they're going to give me all the information I need, but I'd like to hear from other people too, like what your experience is with that. And if you made the same type of decision I had to make. I mean, it was a hard decision. I was really liking the Mounjaro. I liked the pens. It was so efficient. It was easy. Now having to pull it into a needle is, you know, I can do it, but I was just like, I'm still a little unsure about that. But I'm extremely excited about the cost being less than a third. I'm just blown away by that. And from many resources, it says that it works just as well. And as the name brand. So I'm really happy about that and excited about it. And I'm going to keep you all posted on how that turns out and what it looks like. And you're probably wondering where I ordered from. And I looked at a lot of different companies, and there wasn't one more than the other that influenced me at all. I did have a coupon code for this. So I think it saved me like $40 or something. And I think that standard is what I'm noticing about coupon codes for your first order on some of these telehealth companies with the, you know, compounding pharmacies and programs. So save $40 on that. And I decided to go with Amble, A-M-B-L-E. The process was super easy. I was really pleased by that. And like I said, it's being shipped today. So that would be technically, you know, Friday, Monday, today's Tuesday, 3 business days. So that's pretty good. And, you know, you can't really realistically count weekends because, you know, sometimes businesses just aren't open. And I don't know whether it is or isn't, but that's okay. I don't think that's a terribly long time to wait. And I was being patient with it anyways. So I will see how it goes and see how the customer service is, how well they get back to me, like if I want to talk to a provider specifically about it, and the whole process. And I'll check in later with that. But in the meantime, I'm just going to wait to get that. And I wanted to update everybody about everything that I've gone through here. It was just so frustrating, and I'm sure some of you have been through this, but I want to thank you for keeping with me on this journey, and thank you for subscribing and liking and sharing your comments and your experiences. I just ask that you continue to do that. And for those of you who are new, please subscribe to my channel and follow me along on the journey, because I feel like this community is very supportive to one another, and it really encourages me as well. So be part of my journey. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much for joining me today. I look forward to hearing your feedback, your comments, and remember, you are a living mosaic. And until next time, I'll see you. Bye.